Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Chad, and I was asked to set up a rope walker solo treadmill tutorial video based off of the setup that I used to train recently to go to Yosemite National Park in California to climb El Capitan. It's something I did 8 years ago, but I've had a setup similar to this for quite a while. So I was going to go through the ins and outs of it, mainly the rigging. So I have this rigged under my deck. As you can see, I have a pulley with a shorter piece of rope that's actually blue PMI Talon 10 millimeter. Here you can see I have a clove hitch into a carabiner where the rack is rigged in with another overhand knot on this side, which is similar to how the pulley's set up. And you may ask, why is there a knot right here? Just a short piece of rope. Anyway, that's not important, but what is important is how this is set up. So I've got the 900 foot PMI Easy Bend Old Glory rope here, along with my wonderful John Deere lawnmower, and I got this rack, 6-bar steel rack rigged up. So the way the solo treadmill works is, you can see I got the pile of rope here, and I have the rack bars up here, which I'm going to get rigged in here momentarily. The main thing about getting this rope treadmill set up, as you're going to find out, is getting the tension on the bars correct. So again, this is a fairly clean piece of PMI Easy Bend Old Glory rope. I'm going to tie a knot in this because inevitably I just end up resetting the rope over and over and over again when I climb, by just simply unclipping the pulley, flipping it, sliding the pile of rope back over to there, and moving on. But like anything, gotta have a variable friction device, preferably for the rope treadmill. Now normally when people climb, they would have a pile of rope down there, a rack down there to a post, up to a pulley, and they'd be climbing on this rope here. But with the solo rope treadmill, you're actually climbing on this part right here. And you can see as I put weight on it and pull, that just how much friction this is putting on. So when you're climbing, especially here, I'm only 7.5 feet off the ground, okay? And if I have a rope over here on the pulley side, I can have a light grip on the rope, no gloves, and hold all the tension and hold myself in place while I climb. Most of the time when I'm climbing, my hands are literally wrapped around the rack like so, simply because I'm so close to the ground. Now I have rope kind of set up to go. Now you may be asking, why the tarp on the concrete? Well, that's because as I climb, rope is going to pile up here, all of it. And when I'm done, if I'm going for 1,800 feet or 2,700 feet, it's really easy to take that pile of rope, push it back over here so it's more underneath this pulley, and then I can re-rig into the rack, start climbing again. It really does make it pretty simple. Now I'm going to attempt to do this more so with one hand, just to show you how easy this is to do. I don't climb under here with a helmet. It's 95 degrees in Missouri today. Right now, since I'm done training for going to Yosemite, I'm not climbing with weight anymore. I was climbing with a backpack, all my vertical rig, my long rack, you name it. So I've had probably an extra 20 pounds of gear easy. But this is just for me a really good cardio workout to stay in shape. I like climbing rope. Plus it's, easier on the knees than running. I'm not 20 years old anymore. But anyway, I'll get this set up and show you just how easy this is to do. Now, I have it under my deck for a few reasons. One, it's out of the way. Two, it's in the shade. And besides that, while I do have a lot of areas to rig ropes outside, that area is kind of taken up more so with a alpine ropes course that I have reblaze up in that tree to a J rappel, a bail outline, another J rappel here to a guided rappel, and then here I'm setting up more reblaze that I haven't quite got to here. So I like being under the deck. It kind of keeps the neighbors from thinking I'm too crazy. but more importantly, it was a lot easier to hard rig the pulley line and the rack line for minimum flex, because there are no carabiners linking the rack to the rope, and the rope, as you can see, can only twist so much, where if I had chains of carabiners and long webbing slings, I could literally be spinning circles under here if I didn't have my hand on the rope here. So that's kind of the why this is done. I've gone through many iterations of this solo rope treadmill over the years, and this is by far the most efficient. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is going to go with you know, doing one hand on everything and one hand on the selfie stick with the wonderful GoPro, but this will give you an idea of what it is I do. So let's get started here, where I start at the very bottom of my climbing system, clip in the lowest attachment point, go to the second. I always wear a curl for extra safety on rope, especially out here. But as far as climbing goes, you will see that I now have one hand on the rope, no hands on anything else, and I can climb pretty simple. Now, yes, I am going to need a glove if I keep that up, but you see just how easy it is to control everything yourself. Again, normally I always have two hands when I'm doing this, not just one. However, that being said, when I have my hand on the rack and I do the same thing, I can do the same thing pretty easily climbing, and I'm literally just going up and down for hours. I'm not going to do this until I'm winded, but this this shows you what I mean by a solo rope treadmill, that you don't need a buddy to belay you or spot you, your significant other who doesn't want to stay out here with you while you do this, nor would I expect her to. This just goes to show how it works. One last thing that I will mention is, depending on your rope, is going to depend on how many bars you need. On this particular rope, the 5 bars that you see rigged with the 6-1 floating at the top for me to put downward pressure on, that's barely enough, because this rope is very supple, and it'll fly right through the rack. I have another 900 footer that was used at Bridge Day. It's glazed pretty good from us going too fast on it. That one doesn't feed through quite as smooth, which can be good. So hopefully this helps. Again, solo rope treadmill for a rope walker, hands-free. This will not work with a frog system. With a frog system for caving, you're going to need to figure out a way to add in something like a Petzl stop or an old Anthron descender. Those both have a brake lever on them, and you would be able to mount that somewhere up here horizontally, which I have done, and then tie a pull cord to the handle, which you would then pull to engage the lever to lower you back to the ground solo. Again, you may need a secondary friction device in line with that, depending on the type of rope, the diameter, how clean it is, how new. But with this PMI caving rope, again, this is easy bend, old glory weave. It works just fine. This cave has never been underground. It's been a Bridge Day rope one time, so it's had very minimal use. But anyway, I hope all this information helps those of you who want to climb and get in better shape for whatever it is you're going to be climbing, whether it be Surprise Pit or Fantastic Pit or Bridge Day, or even going to California and climbing El Cap. So enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe. Thanks. Well, I'm done climbing for now. Got 20 minutes in, so I have about 600 feet of the rope climb through at a, I would say that's my slow pace on the treadmill. But it's 93, says it's only 42% humidity, but I do not believe that. Anyway, treadmill works great. Again, I climbed, it would have been 3.5 weeks ago, basically from today, that I climbed El Cap in an hour and 47. I didn't get a chance to run through quicker with no gear, no camp gear for the top, let me put it that way. But I ran out of time, but Gustavo, after we climbed, he ended up climbing a second time in an hour and 44 minutes. So he was our fastest climber at the expedition, if you want to call it that. Just more of a big group of friends getting together to rappel and climb SRT, which is single rope technique. I have other videos on my page here from when I rappelled and did some climbing 8 years ago, but I'll be posting some new content from July as well. But I did this all with a on-rope double bungee rope walker, an on-rope Goliath harness, and a rope walker chest harness from Black Fathom Cave Gear, which I made. So if you're interested in one of these chest harnesses, let me know. Fully custom, sized up. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative on how I do this and why I do it. But for now, I'm gonna sit here in a puddle of sweat and cool down. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.